If you are hearing this before the 16th of July, then understand, this is not by chance. It is a message that has found you because you are ready. Life is calling, and it is calling with clarity. You may not feel ready, but readiness is not a feeling. Readiness is a decision. There is a moment before every transformation when everything feels uncertain. That moment is now, but you must not let fear or doubt make decisions for you. You are not your fear. You are not your doubt. You are the observer. And once you can observe those emotions without becoming them, you are free. The path forward is not complicated, but it demands honesty. Look at your habits. Look at your thoughts. Look at your words. They are seeds, and everything you experience right now is the result of what you have been planting, consciously or unconsciously. If you want a different harvest, you must plant differently. Starting today, from this point on, responsibility is your power, not blame. Responsibility. No one is coming to save you, and that is your greatest advantage. Because it means the strength you're looking for has been inside you all along. Now you must train it, discipline it, sharpen it, not just in body, but in mind and spirit. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you are meant to be to begin this climb. And this climb, it will test you, it will humble you, but it will also reveal you. So trust the struggle. The pain is not punishment, it is preparation. Each breath you take with awareness is progress. Each decision made with clarity is a step forward, and each moment you choose to rise instead of retreat, you change. Before the 16th of July, mark this: you have been given a window, a moment to choose whether you continue living as you have been, or whether you awaken to the potential that has been sleeping inside you. Don't wait for the right time. The right time is the dawn, you say now. So stand up, breathe deeply, and begin. You don't need to wait for some perfect moment to feel ready. In fact, that feeling might never come. Readiness is not something that magically appears. It is something you choose. There is a power in choosing to begin, even when everything inside you is uncertain. The people who transform their lives are not the ones who had everything figured out. They are the ones who moved forward, despite not knowing how it would turn out. They understood something essential: that readiness is not a prerequisite, it is a result. When you decide to begin, your mind starts to sharpen, your senses begin to focus, life begins to respond. The very act of choosing creates motion, and that motion brings clarity. But if you keep waiting for motivation, waiting to feel prepared, you will wait forever, because your comfort zone never warns you when it's about to become your prison. The longer you wait, the deeper the walls grow around you. That is why this moment, this exact moment, is so important, because the longer you hesitate, the more your mind strengthens the habit of hesitation. You have to train yourself to move in the face of discomfort. You have to develop the discipline to act when your mind is searching for reasons not to, because those reasons will always be there. Your brain is designed to keep you safe, not fulfilled. But safety and growth rarely live in the same place. Growth demands movement, and movement begins with a decision made in stillness, a quiet, firm choice that says, I don't need everything to be perfect. I don't need to know every step ahead. I don't need to feel courageous. I just need to take one step with presence, and the next one will reveal itself. It is not about having the answers. It is about having the will to find them through action. And every time you choose to act in the absence of certainty, you train your mind to be stronger than your emotions. This is the beginning of real transformation. You start to trust yourself, not because you always succeed, but because you no longer abandon yourself when things get hard. That self-trust is more valuable than confidence. Confidence is temporary. Self-trust is built. It is forged in those moments when you could have backed down, but didn't. When you could have waited for the right time, but chose now instead. And from that one decision, everything starts to shift. The way you carry yourself, the way you think, the way you respond to setback. You stop asking, can I do this? And start asking, what's my next step? You move from questioning your worth to embodying it, because deep down, you know life doesn't give you clarity, and then ask for your commitment. It demands commitment first, and only then does it reveal the way. This is the root of discipline. Discipline is not punishment, it is alignment. It is the practice of remembering your decision every day until it becomes who you are. It's waking up and choosing to be intentional, even when no one is watching. It's saying no to the distractions that pull you away from what matters. And it all begins with that first choice, to begin, even when you don't feel ready. So do not wait, do not hesitate. You are not too early, and you are not too late. The door is open. You simply need to walk through. Fear and doubt will come, they always do. But your power lies not in avoiding them, it lies in your ability to observe them without becoming them. Most people don't realize this. They feel fear and assume it means stop. They feel doubt and assume it means they are unworthy or incapable. But these emotions are not facts. They are signals, temporary weather passing through the mind. The mistake is not in feeling them. The mistake is in identifying with them. You must train yourself to separate your awareness from your emotions. You are not your fear. You are the one witnessing your fear. And the moment you create that space, the moment you say, I see you fear, but you do not control me, you reclaim your freedom, because the emotion loses its grip when it is seen clearly. It no longer dictates your action. It becomes background noise instead of a barrier. This takes practice. It is not automatic. From a young age, we are conditioned to react. React to stress, react to discomfort, react to anything that feels unfamiliar. But reaction is not freedom. Awareness is. When you live in awareness, you no longer act from emotion. You act in spite of emotion. You acknowledge the fear, the hesitation, the insecurity, but you move forward anyway. And each time you do, the fear grows weaker, not because it disappears, but because it no longer defines you. That is the essence of true strength, not the absence of emotion, but the ability to remain grounded within it, to feel the inner storm, and still choose your direction. This is what builds resilience. You are no longer a puppet of your impulses. You become deliberate, intentional, and this intentionality becomes the foundation for everything else. When you understand this, your relationship with discomfort changes. You stop fearing fear itself. You stop running from doubt. Instead, you become curious. You ask, what is this emotion trying to teach me? Sometimes it's pointing to growth. Sometimes it's showing you an old belief that no longer serves you. But either way, it's not a threat, it's information. The greatest shift happens when you stop fighting your emotions and start watching them. You watch how fear tries to protect you from the unknown. You watch how doubt tries to keep you safe from failure. And you say, thank you, but I choose to lead. This is the voice of your higher self, the part of you that sees beyond the moment, the part of you that knows what I feel is real, but it is not final. Emotions are energy. They rise, they fall, but they only control you when you believe they are you. So learn to sit with them, learn to breathe through them. This is mental training. This is how you build discipline, not just in action, but in awareness. Because if you cannot see your thoughts, they will rule your life from the shadows. And when fear is no longer your master, your choices become clear. You stop delaying what matters. You stop doubting your path. You start showing up again and again with presence. And this presence, it becomes your power. You no longer wait to feel brave. You become brave through action. And action is only possible when you are not trapped by the emotion that tries to stop you. So when fear whispers, "What if you fail?" you reply, "Then I will learn." When doubt says you're not ready, you answer, "I choose to begin anyway." This is how you change, not by eliminating emotion, but by mastering your response to it. You build trust in yourself, not because the emotion is gone, but because you've proven that it doesn't get the final say. And now you begin to move differently. You make decisions from clarity, not reactivity. You listen, but you don't obey every thought. You feel, but you don't follow every feeling. This is where your discipline starts to evolve. This is where your inner strength becomes unshakable, because now you are no longer driven by the waves of emotion. You are anchored in purpose. So do not fear your fear. Do not reject your doubt. Let them rise. Let them pass. And through it all remain still. Watch, choose, move. Every thought you think, every word you speak, and every action you take. These are not isolated moments. They are seeds. And like all seeds, they grow. They don't disappear when the moment passes. They take root, often quietly, and shape the world you will eventually walk through. That is why you must become aware of what you are planting each day, because your future is not waiting somewhere far ahead. It is unfolding right now, built by the habits you live out moment by moment. Most people don't realize the weight of their daily choices. They underestimate the power of the small things, but the small things become the big things. The way you start your morning, the way you speak to yourself when no one is around, the way you react when things don't go your way. These little moments, they stack, and over time they become your identity. You must begin to live as if every moment matters, because it does. Every complaint is a seed, every excuse is a seed, every skipped commitment, every delayed goal, every time you say just this once, they all grow into something. And the truth is, life will give you the harvest of what you've planted, whether or not you meant to plant it. So if you want to change your life, start with your habit, not the dramatic ones, but the quiet ones. Start with the way you breathe when you're under pressure. Start with the way you talk about your goals when no one's listening. Start with how you show up when you don't feel like it. Because discipline is not about one big act of willpower. It's about thousands of small, consistent decisions. This is why awareness is so important. Without it, you'll keep repeating cycles that no longer serve you. You'll keep making choices based on who you were, not who you are becoming. But when you become aware, you begin to interrupt the pattern. You start asking, is this thought helpful? Is this habit leading me somewhere, or keeping me stuck? And when you ask these questions with honesty, you start to reclaim control over your life. Think of your habits as the architecture of your future. If you are constantly reinforcing doubt, hesitation, laziness, or distraction, you are building a weak foundation. And when the pressure comes, as it always does, it will crack. But if you build with presence, discipline, and intentionality, your foundation becomes solid. It holds, even when the weight is heavy. The words you speak are powerful too. Words shape belief. If you speak limitation, you believe limitation. If you speak strength, you invite strength to rise in you. So speak carefully. Speak with conviction. Replace "I can't" with "I will learn." Replace "maybe someday" with "I begin now." Speak to yourself like someone you are responsible for, because you are. And thoughts, your thoughts are the blueprint. They determine what you see and what you ignore. A negative mind will always find a problem. A focused mind will always find a way. You must train your thoughts like you would train a muscle. You don't wait for them to get stronger. You make them stronger through practice. Replace reaction with reflection. Replace worry with presence. This is not about pretending life is easy. It is about choosing your perspective again and again, until it aligns with the life you want to live. When your habits, your words and your thoughts align,
you become powerful, not because you control everything, but because you control how you show up in everything. And that is where true change begins, not in the outer world, but in the inner practice of showing up consistently with purpose. So if you want something different, start planting different seeds. Stop saying it's too late. Stop saying it's too hard. Instead, ask, what can I do right now that reflects the person I am becoming? Then do that again and again, until it becomes natural. This is not about perfection. It's about alignment. It's about making your days match your values. It's about choosing the life you want, not just dreaming about it. Because what you do daily is who you become, and who you become will determine the life you live. So choose wisely, and begin now. No one is coming to save you. And though that may sound harsh, it is actually your greatest gift. Because the moment you stop waiting for someone else to change your life, is the moment you begin to realize how much power you already have. Responsibility is not a burden, it's your freedom. It is the permission you've been waiting for, but only you can give it to yourself. Many people carry the silent hope that something outside of them, a person, a moment, a miracle, will appear and shift everything. They wait for the right time, the perfect support, the right motivation. But life doesn't work like that. The truth is, the change you want will only come when you stop outsourcing your power. As long as you blame your past, your circumstances, or anyone else, you are handing over control. And when you give away control, you give away the ability to choose differently. Responsibility is not about fault. It's not about shame or guilt. It's not saying everything that's happened was fair or deserved. It's saying this is where I am, and what happens next is my choice. That shift from blame to ownership is what separates those who grow from those who stay stuck. Because when you take full ownership of your life, you stop waiting, and you start creating. Yes, the world is unpredictable. Yes, life is unfair at times, but your response is always yours. You can either let circumstances define you, or you can define yourself in how you face them. That is where strength is built, not when things are easy, but when you choose to rise in the middle of difficulty. This kind of strength doesn't come from emotion alone. It comes from clarity. It comes from recognizing that every choice you make is a step in one direction or another. And if you want to live a life that reflects your values, your goals, your truth, then you must stop waiting for someone to hand it to you. You must build it piece by piece, with presence and intention. Taking responsibility is not about doing it all perfectly. It's about showing up, even when it's hard. It's about asking, what can I do today, instead of why isn't someone helping me? It's about making one small decision in alignment with your vision, and then doing that again tomorrow. This is how momentum is created, not from waiting, not from wishing, but from choosing. Choosing to wake up early, when it's easier to sleep in. Choosing to speak with purpose instead of complaining. Choosing to move, to train, to think, to act like someone who owns their future. When you take responsibility, you reclaim energy. Blame drains you, excuses weaken you, but ownership fuels you. It focuses your mind. It strengthens your resolve, because you are no longer scattered between all the reasons why it's not your fault. You are centered in the one reason why it is your opportunity. And as this mindset deepens, you stop fearing failure, because you realize failure isn't the enemy. Avoidance is. Fear isn't the enemy. Inaction is. You learn to face difficulty head-on, not because you enjoy pain, but because you trust your ability to navigate through it. You trust yourself, not to be perfect, but to stay present and keep going. That kind of self-trust grows every time you take responsibility, instead of running. Every time you say this is on me, and I'm okay with that, you strengthen your foundation. And from that foundation, you build discipline, you build consistency, you build a life that reflects who you truly are. So don't wait for someone else to fix it. Don't wait for the right time or perfect plan. Don't waste another day hoping someone else sees your potential. See it yourself and act on it, not with pressure, but with presence, with courage, with commitment. Because once you choose to take responsibility for your life, you are no longer waiting for the future, you are shaping it, one decision, one thought, one step at a time. Growth is not supposed to be easy, it's not comfortable, it's not smooth, and it rarely feels good while it's happening. In fact, growth often looks like struggle, it feels like pain, it shows up as resistance, as chaos, as failure, as exhaustion. But none of that means you are on the wrong path. It means you are being refined. You have to understand that pain is not the enemy. The discomfort you feel when you're stretching beyond your limits, that's a sign that you are becoming more than what you were. That resistance you face, the doubt that creeps in, the fatigue that tries to convince you to quit, that is the threshold. And most people turn back at that very moment, not because they are weak, but because they don't understand what the pain is trying to do. Pain is not punishment, it is preparation. It is life sharpening you, molding you, challenging you, so you can carry what you once couldn't. Think of it like training. When you train your body, you tear the muscle, so it can rebuild stronger. The soreness is a signal of growth. The same is true for your spirit. You must be willing to be broken open in order to rise differently. But this requires a shift in mindset. You must stop asking, why is this happening to me, and start asking, what is this teaching me? Because every challenge, every setback, every moment that's you, it's all part of the path, not an obstacle to the path, but the path itself. The struggle is not separate from your transformation, it is the process of transformation. There is no growth without friction, no elevation without tension, and the most powerful version of you, the one you envision, the one who stands strong with purpose and clarity, does not appear by accident. That version of you is forged in the fire of difficulty. You cannot bypass it, you must endure it, and more than that, you must welcome it. This doesn't mean you enjoy suffering, it means you no longer run from it. You face it, breathe through it, and keep moving. You become the kind of person who does not shrink when things get hard. You become the one who keeps showing up, day after day, knowing that every moment of strain is building something inside you. And in time, you change. You become more resilient, more focused, more grounded. You stop reacting to life, and you start responding with intention. You stop collapsing under pressure, and you begin to carry it with quiet strength. That is the real reward, not just the external results, but the internal transformation. You become someone who trusts yourself in the storm. It's important to remember, progress often looks invisible in the moment. You may not see immediate results. You may feel like nothing is changing, but if you keep going, if you stay consistent through the struggle, one day you will look back and realize you were evolving the entire time. The lessons, the discipline, the strength, it was all being built quietly beneath the surface. So don't wish for things to be easier, wish for the strength to rise higher. Don't ask for the pain to go away, ask for the wisdom to walk through it, because this is what separates those who simply want change from those who embody it. Many want the results, few are willing to earn them, but you are being called to earn it, through effort, through patience, through presence. And it will not always feel like success. Some days will feel heavy, some steps will be slow, but the only thing that matters is that you keep stepping, even when you doubt, even when you're tired, even when it hurts, because that persistence, that quiet refusal to quit, that is your strength, being born. This is how you transform. This is how discipline becomes natural, not by avoiding pain, but by walking through it with your head high and your heart steady. Because pain is not your enemy, it is your teacher, and when you understand that nothing can stop you from becoming who you were always meant to be, there is no perfect moment waiting around the corner, there is only now, this moment, this breath, this choice. This is the doorway, And the truth is most people will stand outside that doorway for years. They'll wait until they feel more confident, until they're less afraid, until the conditions are more favorable. But life doesn't wait. Opportunity doesn't knock forever. If you keep waiting for the right time, you'll find yourself at the end of the road wondering where it all went. The idea that you'll feel ready someday is a lie your comfort zone tells you. It whispers, just a little longer, and convinces you that more preparation means less risk. But the real risk is in waiting, because while you hesitate, your potential stays silent. While you delay, your future slips further away. And the longer you wait, the louder your excuses become, until they sound like truth. You must understand that action creates clarity, not the other way around. You don't suddenly wake up fearless and full of energy. You wake up and choose to move forward, despite the fear. You choose to act when every part of you wants to stay still. And in that decision something powerful happens. You begin to realize that courage isn't a feeling, it's a decision you make again and again, moment by moment. Every time you say, "I'll start tomorrow," you give away your power. You let the moment slip through your hands, and convince yourself that there will be a better one. But you know better now. You know that the best time is the moment you stop waiting, because life responds to movement, not hesitation. It rewards action, not intention. You must become the kind of person who stops overthinking and starts doing. This is where discipline begins, not in a sudden burst of motivation, but in a quiet choice, made when no one is watching. It starts when you say, "I will not wait anymore." When you stop negotiating with the part of you that wants comfort, and choose to follow the part of you that seeks growth. And that choice, it shifts everything. Your energy changes, your direction sharpens. You no longer live on pause. You begin to build momentum, one intentional action at a time, and momentum is the most powerful force you can generate. Because once it starts, it carries you, it lifts you, it becomes easier to keep going than it is to stop. But none of that begins without the first step, the one you take now, not next week. Not when you feel less tired, not when your schedule clears. Now, because the person you want to become is not waiting in the future. They are created by what you choose in this moment, and that person isn't built by big dramatic changes. They're built by small repeated decisions to act in alignment with your purpose. You have a window, a narrow but powerful opening to shift the course of your life. This isn't a dramatic gesture, it's not a movie scene, it's a simple truth. Today is your chance. Right now, you get to decide whether you move forward, or continue to circle the same patterns. And you know what those patterns feel like. The regret of inaction, the heaviness of wasted potential, the quiet voice inside you asking, "Why not today?" And if you don't answer that voice now, it grows quieter, until you barely hear it anymore. But if you do answer it, if you say yes to this moment, your life begins to change in ways you cannot yet imagine. Start small, wake up earlier, move your body, speak with more purpose, show up when you said you would, follow through on the promises you make to yourself. Each of these is a signal to your mind, "I am serious about my growth." And when your mind sees that consistency, it begins to believe you. Your self-trust returns, your confidence grows, your direction becomes clear. So stop waiting, stop hoping the future will feel easier than now. The future is created by your choice to start right here, in the middle of the mess, with no guarantees. That is real strength. That is what separates those who change from those who wish. This is your time, and time only moves in one direction.